oh, my hand just grabbed her ass. Like, okay, that happens. Like,
someone's hand just goes in and...
Yeah.
Unless it was like they've planned it out and they like went and got tested and their partner got tested and then they did it.
So sexy.
Hello, what's up guys? I'm your host with the most, Chinmay Sharma, aka Scuba Chinu, and welcome to our inaugural episode of our brand new shiny vodcast, Wokeish! Welcome guys! Before we dive into today's conversation, I'm going to introduce this very cool panel. I'm going to start from here. The hottest thing to come out of Maharashtra since pizza. She is the founder of India's favorite Marathi digital platform. It is Sara. What's up, brother?
What's up?
Good to have you, bro. And to my left is his partner in crime, partner in life, the CEO of Bhadipa. Find me a white girl who can speak better Marathi and I will call you a liar. It's Paula! Who's next? What do you get? Right. She's recently become a certified yoga instructor, actor, model with a name so nice you gotta say it twice, Pri. And last but not the least, goddamn, look at this. Multilingual actor, fresh off her banging Sabyasachi campaign, is Shruti. What's up?
Hey, thank you.
Alright, what's up, guys? Thank you all for doing this. If you didn't know, the topic today is emotional cheating? Right off the bat, I'm going to start with you, Pri. Yes or no? Do you think emotional cheating is cheating?
Yes.
I was an apprehensive, so you're on the fence.
I'm on the fence.
Okay.
Because
I feel like
you read what it is. I don't even know what it is. So yeah, पढ़ के आइए. मेरे को पता भी नहीं.
I feel like I'm malleable, so I'm here to be
Ductile, okay.
Yeah, I'm here to be molded.
Okay,
Yoga.
Yeah.
Exactly. Can anyone like define what it is so
That's
that
my
we
next
know,
question.
so
Okay.
that we can
So
have
let's
like
do that first. Let's do that first.
Yeah.
What would you define as an emotional relationship with someone, and then what would be emotional cheating for you?
From my understanding,
Yes.
I think emotional cheating is when it's just like talking to someone, but it's like feelings are developing. Like you have a romantic but
Okay.
it doesn't have to be sexual. It doesn't have, but just the fact that you're speaking to them every day, or I don't like. It's very vague. Even I'm interested to hear everyone else's definitions, but for me, that counts as cheating.
Brother?
No, if that's the definition, then it counts as cheating.
It counts as but would you define emotional
So
cheating?
if it is like, because we were confused, Paula and I, we had a discussion at home being a couple, and like, cause we also have chosen not to get married. So for us, this discussion is
How
going
long
to
have you guys been dating for?
8 years. So we have been living together for 8 years. So and not married and things like that. So for us, it's also like little complicated. Like what exactly is what?
Right.
Yeah. So if at all, like if I'm sort of confiding in someone at some point, then I don't feel it's cheating, because eventually you also need to talk about your relationship with someone, and it might be your friend, counselor, or any other person from opposite sex. It's fine to do that, or whatever your choice is. But if it comes to what she's saying, that starts developing some feeling and it becomes like a crutch for you, then definitely it's cheating.
It is, okay. Yeah. Depends on how you look at it. Paula?
It's only emotional cheating if it's not coming out of respect for your partner.
Okay.
Like if you feel like you're betraying them, and if you feel like they would mutually agree. You know, because cheating is also something which means like it's hidden, it's not disclosed, right?
Right.
Otherwise, it would be trading or something. So
Exchange.
So like for it to be emotional cheating means that like emotionally you are being disrespectful of your partner as well. There's that side of it for me was more important than how you feel about the other person.
Okay, so you do believe that there is something called emotional cheating, and
Yeah, and I think it's like if you feel guilty, it's probably not right.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Just true for most things, but I completely agree with you. Shruti?
I agree there is emotional cheating for sure. If you are sharing your innermost thoughts, your feelings, even if there is no sexual attachment, but you're hiding it from your partner.
Right.
There it is. I don't know, you have a drink when you're 14 and you're not supposed to tell your parents.
Right.
You're hiding it.
Right.
You are cheating.
Right.
So if you have to hide something from your partner, you're cheating. So it's emotional. And because it's emotional, I feel that there'll be a lot of layers involved. So
So you guys agree there are layers. It's not just black and white. Like, is everyone in agreement with that?
Yes.
No,
Right,
it is
so-
black and white.
Okay.
There is emotional cheating and not.
Right. Because she's on the fence, so she doesn't know where she draws the line. So I'm going to start with you. Where do you draw the line? Coming out of a personal relationship, you're married. Where would you draw the line and say, if my husband does this, it's emotional cheating, till then it's fine?
I think in emotional cheating, there is no intention of cheating. You just start by a conversation. Somebody at your workplace you enjoy talking to, kind of may admire you. You find out you have certain interests, but you hang out as friends.
Right.
And that's layer one. That's how everybody becomes friends.
Right.
Then when you start kind of sort of, I don't know, probably trying to meet outside of your social circle, just having like a private meeting over there, and not mentioning it to anybody.
Right.
That is where it begins.
What if
to
it's happening
kind
on a
of-
phone call? Well, I mean, if
Then in that case, then it would come down to what exactly? I would say exposing the vulnerability of yourself that you may not share with your spouse or partner.
Right.
That is, then your mind starts playing tricks on you, and the mind starts saying, oh my God, he or she understands me so much. I wish my partner understood me.
Right.
And then you start kind of probably saying things like, you know,
Why can't you?
yeah, why can't just the comparison begin?
Pri, you've read up about this a little bit, right? On the topic
It was
of
more on like physical cheating and
The-
why
the act
our
of
generation has such a big issue with it, and
Okay.
how now it's like, oh, he cheated on you and you're still with him. It's like, it makes you look bad.
But do you think it's also victimizing yourself? I don't think it should be your fault if someone else
Exactly.
is... Right.
It's not.
Correct,
But
correct.
our generation is so self-centered that
That
we
the-
think it's like, oh my God, how could they cheat on me? This makes me look like I'm not a good wife. Like, there's just all these things, and Esther Perel basically asks you to ask yourself, what is my issue with it? So that's what I was trying to figure out with emotional cheating, was
Right.
that I'm not okay with my significant other saying I love you to someone else.
Right, of
But then
course.
why am I not okay with that?
I have something else to add to this,
Yeah.
because again, because she was talking about how our generation is quite privileged to have these things.
Right.
Forget about our generation, even we five sitting here are quite privileged to have this conversation.
Right.
I come from a conservative family, grown up in Pune, in a really small household. So at that point, if you are even talking to a girl, that means you have to get married. Forget about everything else. So सीधा शादी मतलब घर पे बुलाया साड़ी दिया वो सब दिया. This is where I come from. Okay, and now slowly my family has reached like of course you get educated, liberated over the time, and where they are perfectly fine with we both living together, and that being my choice. And when your first meeting is your marriage, it's obvious that you're going to emotionally cheat at one point, because that's not your choice. You just gone out on date, and you have committed to that person for your life without thinking whether they will be able to handle my emotion, handle even sexuality is like of course, like, and that doesn't happen to 95% of the India.
That's sick, bro. That's such a good... I mean, I haven't even thought of that angle, that the majority of this country...
Yeah.
एक बार मिलते, दो बार मिलते हैं.
और शादी.
शादी दिया, like you said.
How are they
अंगूठी
going
पहना.
to like ever be on
Open
same
up
plane
and,
and
yeah,
open up, and
Yeah.
then they find, of course they find solutions in like office colleague hai wo hai. Like yesterday we were having a conversation, my great grandparents generation,
Right.
they always used to say things like छोटी आई मोटी आई, मतलब बड़ी माँ छोटी माँ.
हाँ,
So
okay,
I used to
right.
think कि घर की जो बहू है उसके हिसाब से, वैसा नहीं, दो बीवियाँ होती हैं. It's like,
Mad.
because at a point they are like, nahi wow, work out, let's move on, so I'm saying like
And it's a
it's-
normal thing.
yeah, because and family were okay with it and things like that.
Where would you personally draw the line? So, you're dating. What kind of information is sensitive to you to be shared to someone else that you would call it emotional cheating? Or what if your boyfriend said what or above what line would it become emotional cheating for you?
I think it's quantity and quality. So basically, what the conversations are revolving around. If they're your feelings, like I know saying I love you is like too black and white, because I don't know if that would ever happen. But obviously, if they're saying I love you, then like what are we doing? Like don't. But then also if you're texting them before you go to sleep, text them when you're waking up. Like I think the cadence of conversation when you're talking to them. it all kind of like makes you wonder what's going on, or like it makes me want to know why you're with me.
Yeah.
You know, I had this conversation with my wife very recently because I remember there's a friend of ours who we know very well, and I remember we used to be so tight without thinking twice. I would tell her everything that's happening in my life, and I wasn't dating my wife right now, and vice versa. I would know things about her relationship that some of the times even her husband or her boyfriend at the time didn't know. And I remember having this conversation very recently with her and with Ria separately, and I was like, does that count as emotional cheating? And Ria said something incredible. She said it depends on both of you all and what your partners at the time think. So having said that, that also sometimes it happens by mistake. दिल तो बच्चा है जी, मतलब हो जाता है यार कभी-कभी. You find yourself saying shit, I just texted her, and I'm like, has that ever happened with you where you're like, this could get to a spot where it might be a salty wicket or a sticky wicket, sorry.
I don't think I've actually experienced that.
Right.
Because I've always been in a position where if I start to doubt a relationship that I'm in, I just like say it and say like, I'm not sure about this, and usually end up breaking up and like never talking to that person again. So yeah, I can't be friends with my exes.
I don't know whether it's because I mean, for a lack of a better term, in India, I think the mindset is slightly more tunnel vision. And do you think it's because you weren't born here that you slightly have a broader vision? Because I can think of at least 100 women at the top of my head who won't be cool with that. Right? Yeah. If you're, I mean, I know you're paying her to do it, but just on a weekly basis, seeing someone who he's had a relationship with might be difficult for most. So do you think it's because you come from another Canada?
Maybe because like I'm such like a hard to find piece of ass, you know, in India.
Team Paula for life. What's worse for you, emotional cheating or physical cheating?
No cheating. Just don't fucking cheat.
Nice,
no,
nice,
but
nice. Don't fucking cheat, man.
no, but I don't know. That is something that I have not thought about. I don't know.
Because I want all of you to answer this. Is anyone ready with an answer?
Yeah, I am.
Sure. Oh, lovely. Okay.
I think physical cheating is like understandable. Like I think that's totally fine. Okay. Let's talk about it. Let's understand why you did it. You can even like I think even in a perfect world I'd be okay with it. Emotional cheating, I feel like
I'm saying you personally would be okay
if my partner cheated physically.
But if he told you about it, or if he told you later also.
Yeah.
Either ways.
Yeah.
But emotional cheating is a deal breaker for you.
Is more. That takes a lot more. Like I think at the end of the day, we're all primates. We're all primal, and like you get people drink, even if without drinking, things happen in the heat of moments, and I think that's totally fine. Okay. And as in the world that I've seen, I feel like it's very natural to just have these kind of inclinations to just fuck someone. Yeah, okay, whatever. Like, okay, you do you. Like again, saying I love you. These are all things that your brain is going through a process and you're deciding to do that. It's not something that's just like, oh, my hand just grabbed her ass. Like, okay, that happens. Like,
someone's hand just goes and
yeah.
Where are these hands? Where do you find them?
Also, if that's the sound you're making, of course, then
Flirting for me is okay. So what's the difference in grabbing someone's?
I'm so happy you said that. So would you count flirting as emotional cheating?
Again, it's so contextual.
Right?
Yeah. Like she said, when you take it out of like, oh, let's meet outside of something, or like let's text about this, that is like, why are you doing that? But again, if we're all sitting here, or even if you two went off to the side, I think that's totally natural, and I think it's encouraged. Like it's a great way to banter, bond.
I agree, because I've been told after I got married, because I just have Hawkeyes on me, that I flirt a lot, and I just thought it's the way I talk. And she said, no, you idiot, that's flirting. And I think it's really healthy. Like if you see someone on set and she's a good looking chick and she's whether she's married or not married, and you strike up a conversation and you compliment her, and then it goes on to flirting, and you know nothing's going to come out of it. Would you be okay if say Paula did that with someone?
Yeah.
I think that is the best thing, man, which is why I see the comfort level between both of you guys, and having known you apart from the studio also. Do you also think emotional cheating is worse than physical cheating?
I actually kind of feel like both are bad for different reasons.
Okay.
Physical cheating, I can understand that there's like natural urges that we get.
Right.
But for me, I feel like there's a danger in physical cheating where you can like medically harm your partner
Yeah.
with
Nice.
STIs,
Right,
STDs. I would be like pissed off about that. Like, how dare you put me at risk? Because if it's your long-term partner, you may not be using protection. That for me would not be okay, unless it was like they've planned it out and they like went and got tested and the partner got tested and then they did it.
So sexy.
So sexy, oh my god. And that's the coolest way to cheat ever.
Match your DNA.
Magic DNA.
So for me, that is not okay with physical cheating. But with emotional cheating, I think if naturally it's happening and you recognize it and you choose to withdraw and say like, I am feeling too close to you, I feel like it might develop into something if we continue and you don't stop it.
Right.
Like those initial feelings, I would never blame someone for having that.
Okay.
But if the intention is, I'm going to keep talking to that person and I'm going to see where this goes, that is cheating for me. Like that's when the emotional cheating stops being okay.
Would you be comfortable if Paula discusses your sex life with her bestie, or
Again, depending on what is the situation. If it is something that has to be resolved actually between us and should be spoken amongst us,
Right.
then of course it's very like it's not done if she goes and talks to someone.
Right.
Yeah. But if it is something that it's very hard to bring up, or it's something that she has to actually discuss it with someone else to find reasons,
Right.
then of course, then
Or for advice.
Yeah,
Of
for advice.
Yeah,
Then why
yeah.
not?
Are you of the same thought process? Would you be okay if
I'm okay if my husband discussed a fight that we had
Right.
with anybody. It could be he's close to my sister,
Right.
he is close to his brother also. So I'm okay if he discusses
You're
it.
okay.
I'm okay with that. That's not a problem because there are some things that we do need help with. A certain situation.
that's what I said.
The fight
Not
occurred
as-
at all in the first place because there's a difference.
Right.
Because we're not getting through to each other. So there can be another way that this person can.
What if
come
it's for bitching and not for getting advice? So what if
I don't mind it.
That's okay.
That's
It's
fine
not
with me.
a-
I'm okay with people bitching about
think-
me. I've been used to it since I was a little
Yeah,
girl. So
right.
you bitch about me, that's fine. But
Yeah.
come up with a solution and better it. No.
Yeah.
You tell me that, okay, I spoke to so and so, so and so, so and so. I think this is what we should do and this is how we should fix our relationship and this is how
Right.
we should fix our differences. Then that's effective communication.
Nice.
Then you're bettering your relationship for whatever reason.
Correct. Pri, would you be okay if your boyfriend was talking about what you guys do in the bedroom openly?
I mean, again, it's contextual. Like, if it's something that he's looking for help with, or
No.
like,
No, as just a haha. You know what happened yesterday?
I feel like I wouldn't be with someone in the first place that is like, I
Like,
feel like
yeah.
that's a very like locker room, school, like.
I was
oh,
gonna come to
Very-
that. Like
yeah.
I am not able
Juvenile.
to relate to my friends, most of my friends, school time friends, because of this. Because how openly they say things about women and things
Same,
like that.
yeah.
And I'm just
Correct,
not able
correct.
to like in that
Fathom.
room. I feel
Right.
very weird, and I've come back and spoken to Paula about it.
Right.
That I have hung out with these friends after 14, 15 years, and it just feels like how far are we now?
Pri, do you agree with
Yeah, like it's hard to answer because I don't think this would arise even like the situation, and if it would be a red flag for me if I was hooking up with someone and like I found out that was the case, I'd be like, I would look at the person like, why do you feel the need to
talk about?
like, do you feel insecure in the bedroom? Is that why you're portraying this act of like, oh look, I'm doing this and doing
Right,
that.
right,
You know, like I feel
right.
like it reflects on the person itself, and I. Luckily, in the relationships I've been in so far, and I haven't had that.
Had that.
Yeah.
But sending pictures in mankinis is fine because I've received a few of those from your boyfriend, and god damn does he wear a mankini.
Keeper.
Right, this question is for all of you. Can one person fulfill all your emotional needs?
No.
Okay. In a word, no. Can one person?
No, I don't think so.
What percent, if you had to put on one person max, like ballpark?
Yeah, I think like in a sliding scale, like 60 to 80%.
Right,
Roughly.
yeah.
Depending on what is that person willing to take on.
Fair enough.
Because I don't think it's fair to put 100% of your
Oh,
emotional
yeah. Right,
needs
right.
into one person, and I feel like that's just too codependent and not cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would be a 60-40 as well.
Yeah.
I think 60 would be my better half, and then 40 I need to talk to like friends and family and
It also depends on what you are comfortable sharing with. I may not discuss every.
Are you the kind of person who likes to share intimate stuff? I'm not just talking sexual, like just emotional, intimate stuff with other people over your better half or worse half? Like, do you think you have certain emotional needs that don't get fulfilled by your partner?
See, we're very intelligent beings. When we know that we're looking at a certain thing, we want to hear something.
Right.
We know that if I speak to Aishwarya, my sister, I know I can hear that and that will comfort me. If I speak to Sahil, my husband, I'm going to get something that's going to piss me off. So I'm not going to talk that with him. We know it. So that is why you should not put the burden of your joy and your emotional satisfaction on one person. It's unfair on the relationship and on that individual. That is why you just know it. There are some things that you would discuss with your mother, with your father, with your best friend. So each relationship has its tune.
Right.
You just dance with that, and you let the other person take lead sometimes.
Very cool, yeah. Love it.
Very true.
What percent would you guys give your emotional needs to? I'm guessing none of you also.
On an average, 60-40 is right. But with Paula, I think it's different because, as she said, like in the city, we are like each other's best friend. It's strange that we still can have like 4 or 5 hour conversations, like when we are driving.
It's been 8 years. You said 7.
8 years. Yeah, because I think it's because we also, like when you are both are migrant to a city, and a city like Bombay, you need that person. Like you need a person, and it happened to be us. Like that's all.
Yeah.
But overall, yeah, 60-40 is a right sort of a.
This best friend syndrome is something that I've had, but when I was slightly younger, is when the best friend knows more about your relationship than you do. Has that happened? To
I
any
feel
of you
best
guys?
friends try to pretend that they know more because they also want to own you up.
Correct.
So they want to like, yeah, my best friend, like she'll come to Paula and she'll be like, do you know he also does this? And I'm like, why are you doing this? She knows it. Like,
and my best friend is
Yeah.
super protective. He's
Yeah.
like, if Sarang, if you ever want to propose, you have to get my permission.
and our best friends are like opposite sex. Like she has a guy and I have a girl in my life, so who are like closest. So they always do that.
What about you?
In my situation, to be very honest, Sahil and I are each other's best friends.
Best friend.
I am his best friend.
Right.
So no, I would not hear, and he's sort of an introvert. He keeps to himself. He does not really discuss anything like that. So in my situation, it's different. But my point of view is that no, I don't think I'd be okay with his best friend knowing that intricate details about a certain. There is a limit. There is a point. Like I said, there's a boundary.
So what is the limit for you?
It would be something that I would know that I've told my husband in confidence, hey, I'm opening my vulnerable most. I am right now with you.
Yeah.
It's difficult for me to share with you, but I
Yeah.
am. And if he's an ass and he goes and shares it with somebody else, knowing how it's like putting yourself out there.
And you do that very
You're
frequently in the
exposing like something,
Right.
some sort of a wound, something that might have happened in your childhood, which is
Right.
what shaped your personality.
Correct,
of sorts.
yeah.
That if you go on announcing it, that's not cool at all. So
Is there something you would forgive?
I forgive him on a daily basis for sure, for 1,000 things. But
for this, is
for
this a deal breaker for you?
It's
Yeah.
not a deal breaker for me. I would forgive it for sure.
You would work on it. Wins.
Like, yeah, 100%. Undoubtedly, I'd work on it.
3?
I don't think I have any deal breakers as such. Like,
Now, since you were a little apprehensive on this side or that side, do you have? He cannot talk about anything more emotional than this with someone else because that will be a little offensive to me.
I think it's so hard to say like this is not okay because everything has a time and place. Everything has a reason for why humans behave a certain way, and if you are in a relationship with that person, you've signed up. Like you can't just bounce because of like I feel like you're both investing, and I think if he's doing something like that, I would want to know why, and I try to understand it, and I don't think it would end up on let's part ways. It would be like this is why it happened, and
I would work on it.
And I think that is more important to be able to empathize with each other than the fact of this is wrong. Because that's not your job in a relationship to tell people what to do.
Right.
And if it's come to that point, then maybe you should not be in that relationship.
Saram?
I again think the lines depend on who you are dealing with.
Right.
Like in terms of Paula and I think the line gets shorter and shorter because we are so open to each other that there's no point in hiding emotional conversations.
Right.
Like when I go and meet my closest friends, I tell Paula, this is the conversation I had with that person. But in my earlier relationships, of course, those lines were a little more like we had to give each other a little more space because we ourselves were not on the same plane.
So evolved a lot as a person in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I've literally seen, and I remember having these conversations with you just as a person. And I think that's what gets you closer to her, is because she's been part of that evolution of you as a human being.
We shouldn't be finding anchorage, emotional anchorage in other people because we already are so close to finding in each other.
Yeah, I'm on the same page, but I also feel like there's a special clause for repeat behavior.
Okay.
You know, like if you do it once, okay, fine. If you do it twice, it could be a mistake because
Right.
maybe it's something that's an ingrained habit. Like you have to change how you think. Sarang and I have had this conversation many times about how we don't like how couples tear each other down in front of other people.
Public. Yeah.
So-
I hate that, bro.
I hate that. That's emotional cheating for me.
But it's something which, you know, is like, I have a very sarcastic sense of humor.
Yeah, you do.
So it's happened in the past that on many occasions I have made that mistake and I've made a joke about Sarang in front of somebody and then he's like, it's not cool. And I'm like, yeah, it's not cool. I'm sorry. But it's taken me a while to get out of that habit. But like, you have, as long as you can see a concerted effort to change and you want that person to be in your life, then it's not a deal breaker. But if it's something where that person is obviously not putting in any effort to change and change their behaviors and keep it in mind for the next time, then that's a deal breaker because it means that they obviously don't want you in their life as much as you want them.
Right, because they're not making the effort obviously to
Yeah.
change. And that's fantastic. I think, I don't know about you guys, but a lot of my perceptions have changed through this conversation because I've seen certain angles that you spoke about, that I think I had this vision about emotional cheating and it's kind of become this now. I still think emotional cheating is cheating for sure. But like you said right at the start, the layers. It's very subjective. What she might think is emotional cheating is not emotional cheating for her. She might think that physical cheating is worse. You might think that it's not. And all of your reasons, none of them were stupid and out of place. Yeah. You guys are not dumb. Wow, what a great host. And that was the video, guys. Hope you enjoyed it. I know you know the drill by now, but please like our video, subscribe to our YouTube channel at Man's Life India, and share this with all your friends.